Welcome to the Realmhattan Project. I'm your host, Gort. And tonight we have an action packed show. We have a guest. We have a topic that is all over the place because we are not experts, but maybe we will be one day. Maybe not tonight, but one day.
I don't know about you. I'm an expert on everything.
Says
Well,
who?
we know. That's why you're going to explain it all to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
I do
right.
know everything. I just might not remember it all at one time.
The
so-
copyright lawyer.
There you go. www.google.com. All your
Mm.
answers are there.
All right. So, joining us also tonight, we have EE Prime.
What's up, everybody?
We have Derek.
What's up, everybody?
We have our guest, Esteban.
Hey everyone.
We have, I see Sleepy Potato here.
What's up, everyone?
And Ricky.
What's up?
Ricky, you are.
He's also a
balling
sleepy
tonight.
potato.
I've been up since 3 o'clock this morning. I'm tired. I ain't got to get up at 3 o'clock
Yeah.
tomorrow morning.
I had a similar thing. I was up for about 26 hours. I had dentist adventures and all kinds of stuff. I got 4 hours of sleep maybe before the show, and now I want to go to bed. But we got to talk about intellectual properties and copyrights and public domain tonight. But before we get to that, let's talk about how we're all doing. How you doing, E? How's your week?
I'm good. It was another short week at work with only 4 days of work this week, 4 days of work the week before, 3 days of work next week. So November's been flying by. Feeling a little under the weather, but it is what it is.
I like
Just a little
those 4-day
sniffle.
work weeks.
Did you end up getting COVID?
No, not only my son. None of us caught it.
That's good.
I don't know how we managed that, but none of us caught it but him. So
Wow.
he's fine. He's back in school, and that's him sitting here coughing, right? Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Mm. Derek, how you been?
Having an interesting week, but everything is cool. Ricky, you said you've been up since 3 in the morning. This morning, I got up around 5:30 because I had gas, and
You had gas.
I had gas, man.
Not
It
a
was-
gas leak, but you had gas.
I had
Yeah.
gas. I had gas. We had Long John Silver last night, and it was not agreeing with me as I was sleeping.
They still have Long John Silvers out there.
Dude, I wanted Arthur Treacher's so bad. Y'all heard of Arthur Treacher's, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
What?
so Arthur
Barbecue spot.
Treacher's is basically Long John Silver's, but the ghetto version of it. But oh man, it took me back there, and I was just like, yeah, I wanted Arthur Treacher's, but I had to settle for Long John Silver's. It's like when you go to Long John Silver's, you get all the fish and the chicken and everything is beer battered, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same thing with Arthur Treacher's, but they actually it's not as salty tasting. You know what I mean? So yeah, we had Arthur Treacher's and no, we had Long John Silver's last night. And the most favorite things I like about Arthur Treacher's. Now, I keep saying Arthur Treacher's because I want it so bad. Thing about Long John Silver's is the hush puppies are banging. So if y'all ever get a chance to go to Long John Silver's, make sure that they give y'all a healthy helping of
Hush puppies.
hush puppies. Yeah, forgive me in my old age. I'm forgetting what I talk about sometimes. Anyway, what'd you ask me? See what I'm talking about? Anyway, so yeah. But other than that, the gas and all that, yeah. I've been having a pretty productive week. I'm good.
It's good. How about you, Esteban?
It's been good. Last couple of days been busy at work. I work as a mechanic, so sometimes it's slow, sometimes it's it's super packed. But today I was able to get out early, fight Friday traffic, and have an early dinner, walk my dog, and I am free for the rest of the show. And excited to be here with you guys to talk about whatever we talk about.
What are we talking about?
Good. We're going to be
Friendship
talking
doesn't matter.
about the imaginary situation of public domain because probably Disney's going
Oh,
to
right.
screw it up for us.
Okay.
Mr. Potato, how are you doing?
I'm all right. I'm just fascinated to learn that Long John Silver's is still even open.
Right.
I don't remember the last time I
Yeah.
saw one of these. How about that?
There used to be one not far from me in Queens. I don't know if they're there anymore. Actually,
Yeah. It was only 2 people working in there too. And when we drove up, we really got our food fresh because when we ordered it, they had to cook it right then and there. You know, most fast
Yeah.
food joints, they got all the food prepared and everything, just gotta scoop it and put it
Send
up
them in
there.
that
But
heat lamp.
but because business is so slow for them, they just cook it right then and there. That way you get it hot and fresh, coming out the window.
Hmm. So Ricky
When's the
jumped
last
out.
time you
He said Ricky said he was resetting his router.
yeah, he's
Yeah,
having
yeah,
some
we'll be back.
computer issues. So
Yeah. It's
Wolfie,
that
when's the last time you've been to I'm gonna say Arthur Treacher's again. Last time you've been
Long
to
John?
a Long John?
been for years since
Jesus.
I went to when I was near me.
Hmm.
I think I was 8.
Wow.
Just weren't into fish. I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's really fish exactly though.
Who knows?
Well,
Different
like
product.
McDonald's chicken nuggets aren't exactly chicken nuggets. Is that what
Yeah.
you're trying to say?
Something like
It's
that.
it's like imitation crab meat, but for everything else.
Yeah.
Imitation fish.
Hey, Kenny A, if I come and visit you, I want you to take me to Arthur Treacher's. He said he's got one there in Ohio. That's the first. If we plan on, hooking up, that's the first thing I want to do is I want to go to Arthur Treacher's.
I've never heard of Arthur Treacher's.
Yeah, man. Look it up. Look it up, though.
I gotta get out. I gotta get out more.
As much
Yeah,
as
they're
you
not there
travel,
anymore.
as much as you travel, you got to run across one at some point.
They turned it into a beer garden.
Actually, see, there's a good question. With all the traveling that you do,
Yes.
what's your favorite place that you get to go to that you don't have local?
Or to treat yourself.
We're talking like chains
Like what?
wise.
Any place,
Yeah.
any restaurant.
Well, if we're talking chains, I'll give you a chain example for starters. There's a place called Culver's. We don't have here in Pennsylvania. It's like mostly in the Midwest, like in Michigan and in Wisconsin.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
I don't know. I like it. They got these butter burgers. All right, and they toast up the bun real nice, and they got some cheese curds on the side. It's beautiful.
See, the cheese curd sounds good.
I love cheese curds.
Yeah, that sounds
Wisconsin, they're even better.
Not enough places that have that around here.
No.
No, there's a place in
Butter burgers.
Yeah. They butter up that bun and they toast it all nice. You got a nice little crunch when you bite into that shit.
Whataburger's all right.
Carver's, you said?
Culver's.
Culver's.
Yeah.
Culver.
Culvers. Culver's.
Okay, gotcha. All right. Gotta put that in my travel repertoire.
I always like getting into the In-N-Out burger when we go to California.
Yeah.
I like that when I'm out west. I try to have at least one In-N-Out burger. And
Gross.
Ralphie.
Should get that checked out.
Yeah.
I've never had
Fremunda cheese curds.
I've never had In-N-Out. I've never had an In-N-Out burger.
Really?
It's definitely something
I've
you
had
try.
I've been to Jack in the Box in Texas.
Not exactly the same.
Yeah, and I didn't see what the hype was all. I didn't see what all the hype was.
Didn't Jack in the Box kill people years ago?
Dude,
Could've
we have
been.
Culver's here. I heard y'all talking. I was listening to y'all on the phone when my shit reset. Sorry about that, guys.
Culver's in Florida?
Yeah, with the cements or whatever they call them, like the thick shakes and shit. And the frozen yogurt.
The what?
They call them concretes. Because it's like
Freddy's?
a really thick, almost a frozen yogurt, but it's a milkshake.
You talking about Freddy's?
We have that too. We have a Culver's and a Freddy's.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear
Freddy's
this.
is.
Hey, what about
the Culver's is right next to Bojangles, and I go over there for Bowberry biscuits, man, because those things are the jam.
The few times that I've been to North Carolina, South Carolina, that's the first thing I have to do.
Bowberry biscuits are fire, man.
After I graduated high school, my friends and I would go to Carolina to see the Panthers play, and we would eat Bojangles every day while we were there. We'd go once a year, and it's just we have to.
Yeah, the
'Cause
biscuits are banging.
It's just everything's delicious there.
They got a blueberry biscuit there
That's
too.
what I
I've
said. The
never had
Bowberries.
Bojangles.
Yeah, the Bowberry biscuits are the jam.
Bowberry
You
biscuit,
them at
yeah.
like breakfast time with the icing on them. They're good as all get up.
So you come
Hey,
back
Rick.
to California and just a Popeyes and KFC and just like it's
Popeyes.
not the same.
Nah,
Hey Ricky, they got Arthur
Yeah.
Treacher's down there where you at?
no.
Long John Silver.
We got churches. What y'all know about churches?
Oh, churches.
Churches.
They
Oh,
close all of those
They got
down
the big old. They got the big old jar of jalapeno pepper sitting right up by the cash register. You give them
honey
$2.
biscuits.
I've been to churches when I was in Florida.
Churches was the jam back in the day. I don't know. It don't stack
Yeah.
up anymore, but it
It
used to
really
be
was
the
in
jam.
DC.
Yeah.
It don't really stack up down here no more. They got one probably in the entire DC area. That's in LaFont Plaza, where the Metro is. But yeah, man, them honey biscuits, man. Whew.
That's some good shit.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So, Ricky, you'd stepped out for just a second there, but how was your
Sorry
week?
about that. Actually, it was really good, man. I want to take a quick second and shout out my kid and his team, man. The Ocala Rotary Fall 2022 Majors Dodgers. We won the championship Thursday night. It was the only team that had beaten them during regular season. Beat them twice. First time was 11-0. They put the stink on us. Second time it was a 6-5 on a walk off. And they came back and were able to get like a revenge against them in the championship game, and we won 7-5. So super excited about that. So big shout out to them. It was a great time coaching them this year. As much as I love them, I'm glad not to have to drive that all the way across town 3 times a week and stuff, man. It was killing me. But it was fun. It was my son's been in baseball 4 or 5 years now. This is his first championship run, and he got to make it all the way. So excited for him. That was fun.
Hey, speaking of copyright, how come they're allowed to call themselves the Dodgers?
Because they aren't trademark infringement because they don't use the exact same thing as the Dodgers.
Different font.
Yeah, the logos are slightly askew of what the LA Dodgers are. Like
little things.
My hat that I wore is an actual LA Dodgers hat because I hate wearing snapback and Velcro hats. I have to have fitted hats, so I ordered one offline because the ones they give us at the field are Velcro.
And stuff like that's also about like brand confusion and stuff. And on a local level, like that's not really a thing.
Yeah.
Well, like
Also,
if you look
pronounce
at
it like
our
Dodgers.
jerseys, it says Dodgers, but it doesn't look like the LA Dodgers.
Yeah.
Like it looks just slightly askew of it. So it's like an homage more than a trademark infringement.
Yeah, I saw the picture you posted. I got a question though that I've been meaning to ask you. I saw that they had medals around their neck.
Mm-hmm.
You guys don't give trophies no more?
They do trophies for travel ball, man. Yeah, I don't know why. Like I said, this was our first year doing it. I was disappointed when that happened because I was looking forward to it because I already had. I told my kid
to give these kids trophies when they win.
I told my kid that I wanted to do the old dynamic duo batting pose, the Jose Canseco, Mark McGuire, with the like reaching out with the bats going towards each other. Like I wanted to line up like that with him with the trophy in front, and then they handed us medals, and I was like, "What the piss is this?"
You mind if I show you? You mind if I show you pictures?
You can go ahead, man.
I'm sure you can get like a secondhand trophy and still stage it.
No, so that's the team that beat us the 2 times, and then we ended up beating them. That's the Marlins, and then that's our team, of course, in the blue, the Dodgers.
I'm not taking pictures with you guys. I'm out. I'm left. We out. I'll shake your hand and do all
that's my
that,
son Isaac with the catcher gear on there, shaking the other team's hand.
Yeah.
I'll do that, but I'm not standing there for photos too.
Well, the Rotary wanted pictures for everybody for the fall and all that. So we didn't ask for it, believe me. That's my son at bat.
Okay.
That's us with our medallions afterwards.
That's what's up.
So you see his face, dude. He was super excited. And that was it's a good friend of his that actually lives in the same neighborhood as his abuela, and his dad was our head coach, and he was our pitcher. His name is Reese. Good kid, can pitch his little ass off. You wouldn't expect it to come out of a little kid like that, but he was a great pitcher.
Nice.
Not a belly itcher.
Yeah, not at all.
That's what's up.
It was a good season, man. It was really, the kids were so excited. Like, it was great to see that, and they really earned it. our team was considered a bad news Bears team. Like
Oh.
some of those coaches and families there take that shit very seriously. Like they get together and have like freaking drafts, like preseason drafts. Like they go around picking kids, and you'll see them go to games and practices and sitting in the bleachers like they're really trying to draft somebody. I'm like, y'all need to relax. These are little kids.
It's like
Right.
fantasy little league going on here.
They front load
I
these
saw a
teams.
parent.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ricky. Sorry,
No,
Ricky.
you
Go
go
ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
No,
No,
go ahead.
you first. No, when I was playing, when I was in Little League, I literally saw a parent walk up to his son who was standing on third base and slap him in front of everybody because the kid made an error.
Wow. See, that's
And
too much.
this
man.
was
I'd be
this was a
fighting
championship game, and it turned into a big fight. Our coaches pulled us off the field, and we basically they wouldn't let us get back on the field.
So you had to
So
forfeit.
we forfeited
Damn.
that year. We had look.
Jesus
I'm not
Christ.
I'm not gonna lie. Look, we had won the previous 3 years in a row.
Right.
So I mean, yeah, we still wanted to win. It was my last year before I was going up to the next level, age wise. But no, I've seen
Yeah.
some.
We've had a couple brawls in our
from
area.
parents. I've
Last
seen some
season, we
wildness
had
from
Wild,
parents
yeah, big ass
when
when
it
parents
comes
fighting each
to
other.
the
and
way they
shit.
act with these kids. Yeah,
Yeah.
parents. I've seen parents fight. That's for like
It's
he
too much.
literally
It's just too
walked up
much sometimes.
in the middle of the game and slapped him in front of everybody on third base right across his face.
Wow.
No, I've seen parents that see. I'm very protective of my kids. Like, but I've literally had to tell parents to shut up, and then I told the umpires like, you're gonna have to boot him here real soon because they were yelling from the bleachers at their kid to the point the kid was crying on the pitcher's mound. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing out here? You're making your kid cry playing in the middle of a baseball game.
Yeah.
Just relax. It's
That'll
okay.
make him pitch better.
Yeah, little son of a bitch, But no, I don't like that, man.
Well,
We
sorry,
go out there
dude.
to have fun, and it was a great time. Like I said, I'll be glad to be able to get some sleep and not waste so much gas. Gas costs a shit ton driving all over there.
Oh yeah, it does.
That ain't true, Darren. Come on, man. You close enough down here to don't believe all that. That ain't true. It's cold, right? That game, it took us. They were up on us 2-0, 3-0, going into the bottom of the second inning because our guys were cold, man. I told them during warm-ups, I was like, y'all need to be stretching, moving. They're standing in the dugouts all, ooh. I was like, man, keep yourself in motion. Keep them arms moving. Keep that core going because you're going to start locking up. They weren't listening. And right about the halfway through the second, you could see there it kicked in. And that's when we just took the game over from that point. So it does get cold here, not you guys cold, but it's relative. Like I said, when it's 90 2 days ago and then it's 40 today, that's a huge drop off. So, but it was fun. I don't want to keep going on because I can talk about it. And you guys know how I am. So I'm going to shut the fuck up. Go Dodgers. Love you, Isaac. Congratulations, guys.
Guess that will lead us into the next segment. Esteban, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, perfect.
It's time for the collector showcase.
That's it. It's never going away, dude. Democracy. 3-2. We're keeping that forever.
All right, let's see this Care Bears section.
Yeah.
Well, this is Braveheart. No. So I was originally going to do a Star Wars thing because Star Wars is my thing. I have my Skywalker sweater. But because Kevin Conroy passed away last week, and you guys touched on it a little bit, I was talking with my wife, and this is something that's meaningful to both of us. And it's my Mattel 10-inch Batman from the Justice League. So I bought this when I was 14, 15 years old. Toys R Us, they all came in this size. But growing up, my mom was adamant about not having more than you should, not having too much stuff. So she would ask us to purge all of our toys every year.
Oh.
So we had to make the decision: what don't I play with anymore? What don't I want anymore? And I got rid of all the Justice League, but I couldn't get rid of Batman. I love Batman. Robin is my favorite DC character, and it just means too much to me. So this guy sat on my desk and then my computer desk and in my closet for years. And the reason that this figure became even more special than it was just me being a kid in the 90s and the 2000s watching these cartoons is when I met my wife, we were introduced through my cousin. And when we met, I was supposed to be a fifth wheel. Just run interception. Don't let any of her coworkers hit on either one of them. So I thought, I'm just gonna be
Cock
myself.
blocking.
Exactly. That is my goal. I just need to make sure that nobody hits on them. Don't make it look like a double date or anything like that. And while I'm in the car with the woman that becomes my wife, my cousin says, Esteban is a huge nerd. So she asked me, "Oh, what are you into?" And I don't care. I don't care. I'm always myself. I'm like, I collect robots. I like anime. At the time, I was playing Yu-Gi-Oh semi-professionally, and I love DC Comics. And when I said that, all Alicia wanted to talk about was Batman the Animated Series. On the car ride to the bar, at the bar, all night long, we just talked about Batman. So one of the first things I did was ask her, like, "Did you collect anything growing up?" And she's like, "Nah, as a girl, when you walk into Toys R Us, you don't really walk into the boys section." So I gave this to her, and she had it in her Volkswagen for years. And then in 2014, at LA Comic Con, we got to meet Kevin Conroy, and I got him to sign it.
Oh,
And
nice.
that
Wow.
was such an amazing experience.
Yes.
Now, Alicia has worked at a radio station, so she's met musicians. We've been to movie premieres where you get to meet actors. We've never been starstruck until we met Kevin Conroy. Alicia was so excited. I was so excited. It was a real celebrity to meet Kevin Conroy. And so while we're in line, we got a picture and an autograph. I had sent Gort the picture that we took together. It's this one. This is 2014. I was a little thinner,
Not gonna lie,
but
kind of jealous.
yeah, I knew you would be because last week you said you never got a chance to meet him.
Oh, really?
But
Really? Really, Ricky?
Alicia was ecstatic. This
Look
is
at
one
that
of her
face. Yeah,
core
absolutely.
memories.
Yeah.
And one of the awesome things was his assistant said, "Okay, pictures, autographs, you pay up front. But if you have other panelists, other celebrities that you want to meet at this convention center, go do them first because Kevin likes to talk to everybody.
Yeah, he does.
He's gonna be here all
He
Friday.
really
He's gonna be
does.
here all Saturday. He's gonna be here all Sunday, and he's not gonna leave until everybody gets what they want."
Mm-hmm.
So when we walked up and I handed him this, the first thing he says is like, "Whoa, this has been loved," and you guys can kind of tell he's beat up. He's all
Yeah.
scuffed. As a 14-year-old, I was still playing with him outside. And I don't care. I'm a kid. I'll forever be a kid. And when I gave this to Alicia, it's like it became special to her. And now it sits on. I've posted in the realm all of our Batman stuff, and it's all hers. Like I try not to collect Batman stuff for myself because she specifically claims Batman. So this is probably our most cherished Batman piece.
Wow.
Haven't met her, already love your wife, man. Just saying. Already
Yeah,
love
she loves it. Like in the realm when I got her the little grappling hook, we made a fun video. Anything pops up that's Batman, she's just like, this will look good on the shelf. Those Mondo figures that are 12 inch, we're in
That's
that
coming out
line.
now. Yeah.
Yeah, we're in that line because of her. So this figure means a lot because I played with it as a kid. She cherished it because it kept us talking to each other when we were just strangers. Eventually we got together, and the joke is that this is my Batman and she'll say it's hers, but now that we're married, it's ours.
It's
Especially
ours.
since
Yep.
you know
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
it's
yeah.
a little more special.
That's what's up.
That's
You
awesome.
ever thought about putting it in a case, like so that God forbid something ever happened to the signature, or you just like being able to hold it?
I don't like putting stuff behind glass. All of our stuff, like, even in our room. This I'm in my bedroom right now.
Yeah.
Everything is in arm's reach. I don't like putting stuff behind glass because then I feel like I lose appreciation for it. I have to be able to just like grab something and like play with it for a bit.
Chimney.
And yeah, that's my showcase.
That's
Ba-ba-ba-ba.
awesome.
That's a
Nice.
great story. I like that.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I've been practicing it all week.
We
Nailed
don't
it, my
practice
friend.
around here. We just wing it, man. What are you doing? You're trying to show us up. Just
Well, we have a
come in
very
here.
big topic to get to.
Yeah.
That's what's
That was
up,
awesome,
Esteban.
Thanks for
Esteban.
that one, man.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
Meeting Kevin Conroy in person is an absolute treat.
Yeah, it's a core memory it's something that I'll never forget. And then even when he took little breaks, he would break into character and go to the restroom, grab a bite, and come back, say some
Mhm.
lines. But every person that he met, he's like, "Oh, what's this? When did you buy it? How long have you had it? What's your favorite episode?" Do you have a favorite soundtrack piece? He wanted to know what's your favorite, what's your favorite Batman moment. He just wanted to talk to people, and it was like, I think it was like $60 for the picture and autograph. So it was
It's
nothing.
not bad.
Yeah.
Prices.
I would
Yeah.
have paid more.
And then like Gord showed you guys the picture when he didn't want to do like selfies, like you hold your camera. He had his assistant take everyone's picture. He would walk around
Mhm.
walk around his table, take a good picture with everybody, and then the next person talk to them, autograph, talk, picture. He had it down, but he let everybody know, I take my time. I want to talk to people. I want to make this moment special. And I can imagine doing that for 3 days straight and having us, because I think we went on a Sunday and he was still full of energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, voice actor. Yeah, but yeah, using your voice like that. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty hard to believe. Wow,
Yeah.
what a
That's
story.
what's
Maybe
up.
That's
they're
so.
less
That's so
jaded.
awesome.
Maybe the voice actors are less jaded with everything.
That's not true, because I hear the voice actor for Goku is a real dick. You have to get him. You have to get him early in the morning, because by the afternoon he's a grumpy Gus.
Oh wow.
He's grumpy
Yeah.
Goku.
Yeah, grumpy Goku. Sean Shamel.
Well, like Vegeta.
Goku's not a grumpy character. That doesn't fit at all. Oh,
Yeah.
That's
Thanks,
great.
Esteban.
I love that. I
thank you,
love that
sir.
backstory,
Thank
Espan.
you.
Those are always my favorite things whenever we do these things. Is the backstory that every one of us is in a showcase had that little backstory, and that's we've all seen the toys before, and we all collect collectibles ourselves. But those backstories are the cool parts. That's great.
Every show has a story.
So moving along right into the meat and potatoes, I suppose. Uh, the intention here,
Now I'm
like,
hungry.
so the intention is to talk about like intellectual properties, and there's the theoretical inevitability that things would become public domain. And that's all a matter of like Disney changing the law again, which has happened multiple times, between them and other companies, uh, wanting to hold on to their creations. So intellectual properties can be, any number of things. That could be a patent, a trademark, a copyright, and it becomes a copyright as soon as everything is in a tangible format, you know, paper, canvas, could be digital, film, and there's a lot of things that, like, what is it? Like Mickey Mouse is coming up. It's going to be the end of next year, so beginning of
Steamboat
2024.
Willie.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Steamboat
Mhm.
Willie version. That's something that would become public domain unless Disney steps in and makes a change. And I'm curious to see like what could happen if that one gets released to the public.
Mm.
But
Well, every time that lawsuit that copyright law has come up, like
yeah,
for Disney's stuff coming up, they've fought
they get an
and
extension or
yeah, they've had
change
it
it.
changed. Like
Yeah,
there's like a name for it. They call it like the Disney thing or whatever or something like that. They've stepped in like 4 or 5 times along the years to have it keep adding more and
it's
more
just Mickey
time to it.
Mouse law at this
I don't.
point.
I don't blame them. I'm sorry. I don't blame them though. Like
Sure.
it's our creation. Like I don't think there's a
But it's not their
single.
creation. The
I
guy who
don't think
created it died 60 years ago.
it's a dis.
See,
You see what I mean?
there's an interesting thing there about what you're saying, though. Like, it's
Yeah.
their creation. George Lucas famously changed the Star Wars movies, and you can't
Mm-hmm.
go buy the original trilogy. You can get bootlegs of those, but you can get the special editions, and you hear it different ways. Like, is it the people's? Is it the public's? Like, it's become a part of culture, or was it George Lucas owns this and can do whatever the hell he wants? So like that's a really interesting example of like somebody did what they wanted because it is theirs. And not too many people have done that. You get like the director's cuts of things, and it's a different cut of the movie. This guy altered it and just might as well have
Fucking deal
burned
with it.
away all
Yeah.
known copies that
Yeah.
he could.
I don't. I don't think there is a more like any character or symbol that's more synonymous with any company than Mickey is with Disney.
Probably.
I just can't see,
I would
considering
argue
how
Batman and
old it
Superman
is.
with DC.
Yeah, I agree with that. Rick.
I don't know. I still
Because you're,
think.
because you're
See,
talking character, you said, right?
Mhm.
see, I can see why you might think, or why where you're saying Superman and Batman, but not everybody is a comic fan. But I think all kids at one point growing up had some sort of Disney thing going on for a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
I agree with that, but I know that one of the like the Superman, y'all guys were talking about it, I think in here earlier, and I'd heard it before, that the Superman logo is like the second or third most recognizable thing in the entire world. Like you can ask anybody around the world and they know it.
Yeah, no,
Surveyed with this
I
information. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
but that's the
definitely,
logo compared to the
yeah,
character.
Mm.
We're
Well, that
I
would be
can
the
see
trademark
that.
versus copyright. But if you know the logo, you say that's Superman. You know at least the basics of who Superman is. He
But is
flies around and he fights bad
is
guys.
but now are we talking about the Schuster Superman, the Fleischer Superman?
Yep.
Yep.
That's when we get into this variation of Steamboat Willie. And like EE was saying, Mickey Mouse, the character, the silhouette, the voice, it's all part of this big Disney machine. And so that's why it's while some symbols are more recognizable, Mickey's outreach is everywhere.
Yeah.
You can't go
Agreed.
anywhere without seeing those three circles.
Yeah, like his
Yeah.
silhouette's the dot on the eye of everything that says Disney. Like it's everywhere.
Exactly. I
Mhm.
mean,
That's true.
Wes in the chat just brought up that the Winnie the Pooh horror movie that's coming out. God forbid someone does that with like a Steamboat Willie looking Mickey
Dude, I'm trying
Mouse.
to watch
Like,
that. I'm trying to
they
watch
I'm gonna.
could.
The
Oh,
fucking
I'd watch it.
sequel.
I'd watch it in a
Get the
heartbeat.
the fuck
opportunity.
out of that.
I'm gonna watch the
I'll
Winnie
be
the Pooh
first in
one.
line for that shit.
I'm gonna watch the
Easy.
Winnie the Pooh one, but it can damage a brand. It really can when other people have that for something like that. Like they start making porns of fucking Steamboat. Like,
People already do that shit though.
yeah, but no,
Oh.
but now it's legal. But it's legal for them to do it, and it's legal for them to advertise it everywhere.
Yeah, it won't be parody.
It's I hate or love the Disney machine all you want. I can understand why they wouldn't want, and they keep trying to get these laws changed so that people don't have access to what, in essence, I do believe belongs to the Disney company, whatever you want to call it at this point.
Yeah. So before we keep rolling into it though, what the current copyright law is, works right now that are created, it's in the lifespan of the creator or the author.
I knew you was
plus-
going to do that.
plus 7 years.
Thank you, Wes.
Sorry, that was a good one. So,
Okay. Oh, I was thinking Stiffboat Willie.
I like that.
Cleveland Steamer Willie. Oh yeah.
So
all
right
right, now you
stuff
just gotta
is,
make. Now you just gotta get nasty.
stuff is protected.
Don't
The
kink shame
author's
me.
life plus 70 years, and things that were done work for hire is 95 years. Works published before 1978 is 95 years. That's where we're coming up on the Steamboat Willie. And then there's different versions of the Mickey Mouse, which has already been touched upon. So the more
Right.
famous look, I believe, would be 1930 that it's entering the public domain. Or not 1930, 2030. But
Yeah, that seems to be the more popular look
2031?
that we
Yeah.
mostly grown up
Yeah.
with for Mickey
That's
Mouse.
when they add him with the shorts and the
Yeah, the red
hat.
shorts.
No hat and all that stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
the gloves. Right.
And the biggest variations that you're seeing with works are things that were created before and after 1978, because it's slightly different laws. It's just the difference of when certain version of the law kicks in.
No, that's my question. Did they
yep.
grandfather back? Like when the law changed in 78, does it grandfather back to everything pre-existing, or is it only from that point forward?
That's what it is. Like everything before 1978, that's where you have the 95 years. Everything after that, that's where it's the author's lifetime plus the 70 years.
Gotcha.
And then the work for hire laws are
Gotcha.
different, which is also the 95. There was a variation of that because if something's not published, it's still protected. So I believe it was once it's published, it's 95 years, or if it's unpublished, I think it was 120, something like that. Like you
Wow.
have a larger time
I got
frame.
that in front of me.
If it's just like work, like authors pass away, and I guess if their works are sitting around in their house and somebody wants to
Right.
finish it up, and that's happened a couple times. I don't follow that stuff, but that'll be what it is. So that's interesting that they still get that protection of something that was just sitting there on paper, because if it's tangible, it's going to be protected, whether it was actually put out or not.
A lot of times that will apply when someone invents something, but doesn't fully patent it.
Yeah.
They'll do a poor man's patent when they just mail themselves
Yep.
the copy of it, and then you have a hard stamp on it of when it was invented, and that would be something that's unpublished, and you'll get the full 120 years. Or that episode of The Simpsons with the signature of the homeless person of who invented Itchy and Scratchy.
Mm-hmm.
I love The Simpsons.
I do too.
I used to.
Now, you
I
guys,
still love their.
and I know Esmon, you know a lot of deep cut stuff about this topic. Is my memory wrong on the original, quote unquote Mickey Mouse? Was it Oswald or whatever he called him, the rabbit looking one?
So no,
Didn't
Oswald,
that one slip into public domain before they had a chance to relock it back down?
no, Felix. You're probably thinking of Felix the Cat.
Maybe Felix.
Oswald the Lucky Rabbit was created by Disney in
Mhm.
when he worked at Universal Paramount. So
Okay.
when he left, the rabbit is owned by Universal Paramount. And just a
Okay.
few years ago, Bob Iger was like, "How about we do this? We buy Oswald the Lucky Rabbit off of you, and we'll give you shares, and we'll give you some of our top executives." So he traded people for the intellectual rights of Oswald the Lucky Rabbit.
That's batshit crazy.
I know. It's one of my favorite like little fun facts about that rabbit. It's like the Disney Corporation wanted him so badly that they traded a real person for it.
That's awesome.
With a non-compete clause for like 15 years, so they can't come back to Disney after the trade.
He's like, we got rid of you assholes. We're keeping the rabbit though. That's awesome. So like, are there any big ones? Like you just mentioned, Felix is like Betty Boop. Are there any big ones that people know? Like Winnie the Pooh, we now know is public domain. Like any other big ones that people should know?
Sure. Like, and it's not all the works, but stuff like Sherlock Holmes, Tarzan, a lot of like the early 1900s stuff like that's in the public domain. Something that I looked into because Esteban brought up Popeye. It's not public domain in the United States, but in other places, which is, I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I would love to know how that law works.
In which way?
The Popeye thing, like it's like other states. I mean, other countries, yes, but in the United States, like what
so it's
makes
still
that
copyrighted here, but it's not copyrighted like in Europe or something.
But like if you think in the sense of like merch and marketing and publications and what you can do, it's just going to be something that can be sold only there. And we get that, plenty. Like say in the realm of toys, like we get toys that are sold here as exclusives in a Walmart, but they don't get that in another country. Or maybe they find another avenue to do that eventually, but it all gets there. So I had a list.
Sorry, guys.
Go ahead, Wolf.
No, I was just going back to Winnie the Pooh real quick. Did Disney not own the rights to the book and they just forgot, or they never owned them in the first place?
No, they don't own the rights to the book. Like they had rights to make their own works based on the material. So that's where you have like their movies, The Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. Like he's, the iconic red shirt, Pooh Bear with all the Heffo Lumps and Woozle songs and that kind of shit. So that's the kind of stuff you can't touch any of that. You can't have it look like that. So if you have like a serial killer in a fucked up looking mask in overalls, it doesn't look like the Disney Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
So there's no contest there. Like they can't.
It has to be
cannot
the
go out there.
They can even use the names and stuff.
Yeah. It can look like the original book, which was just a stuffed bear with no shirt and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's perception. Like I think when people think of Winnie the Pooh, you think, oh, Disney owns this, but they don't. Same thing with stories like The Little Mermaid and all that stuff.
Yeah,
they're not
the
original Disney stories. They were done way before just Disney adapted them.
All that's public domain. Like all the Grimm's fairy tales and stuff
for a long time.
But in our lifetimes, what we've seen is Little Mermaid. We've seen Disney, Cinderella, all that stuff. We associated with Disney.
Brink.
Well, actually, I see.
That's one way to shut them down. I like that idea, Brink.
I see Brian's other question there. So, if the protection for Transformers, if 1984, I guess is the year that all that stuff came out,
95 years, right?
Yeah.
But so what about the Diaclone stuff?
So 2079, right?
The old Diaclone toys. So
Yeah,
That's
but
a
Transformers are different than Diaclone. They're different
Transformers,
colors
the
like
with
name,
names.
the name,
the
right?
name,
But
the brand, the character.
So I'm asking, like the toy design. Let's say like a Diaclone toy design that carried over from original Diaclone into that original G1 toy line.
The
Where does
that stuff
that fall
is
into place? Anybody have any idea?
I don't believe that that's copyrighted. That's all stuff that's under like patents and trademark designs, but
Mm,
not it's protected in a different way. That's why you see third party already doing what they do. They're
Mhm.
making a toy that's a unique you know, it's not even the knockoff argument. It's a unique
No,
transformation. It's a different engineering, so it's not the same. That's how
Yep.
they get away with it. And then you
it's IP theft,
call it
not
whatever you
knockoff.
call it.
It's IP theft,
Pretty much. I mean,
which
that
is
is what it is, but,
yeah,
they're in the loopholes to be able to do what they wanna do.
yeah.
The second that they put the name Optimus or Bumblebee, like, you know, Wei Jiang or whoever it was at a show, that's when they can come after you,
mm.
and they did.
Or if Disney
Mhm.
buys Hasbro.
Well, that's coming
Which I
soon.
wish would happen, but that's
coming
another
soon.
conversation.
You
Yeah.
wish for that one to happen?
Just Disney,
Yeah, I do.
Walmart,
I actually do
Walmart, and Taco Bell all be left. I've seen
because
Demolition
they'll
Man.
actually do something with it. I mean, cut you off, Rick. I'm sorry, but no, I believe that Disney would actually do something with Hasbro a lot more than what Hasbro is doing right now.
I'm gonna say it's the opposite.
I heard a
Me
story
personally, I think
about
it's the opposite
Disney.
direction because Disney likes to crank repetitive shit out and make as much money as humanly possible as fast as possible. So I think they go the opposite direction. They make it worse. You think you get too many primes printed out right now? Let Disney get a hold of that shit.
But
You
they'll
get a new
also
prime
let
every other week.
proppers manage it the way they need to be managed. Like look at Star Wars, look at Marvel. You know, it'll still be managed by the proper people. So, but if they had, you know, took over Hasbro and gave that that type of management to Hasbro, we get a whole lot better Transformer content, GI Joe content. Yeah, we actually have all that. That's still on topic, right?
Well, no, it is on topic. It's just that it branches into a different way. There's a lot of stuff to talk about.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
I had used an example when we were bringing up this whole topic of public domain. Disney right now, you get Bad Batch, you get the Boba Fett shit show, you get Mandalorian and Grogu, and then you get a show like Andor, which you know, man, something that's so much better than the competition. But if say Star Wars went public domain, it would take a while because you'd have limitations on what you can do. I guess just stuff from that first movie, concept ideas, names from that first movie to tell a new story. Like if you want to make Jabba the Hutt look like a bag of chips, then I guess that's what you do because the name is mentioned, but you can't make him look like a slug. Return of the Jedi, 6 years out, you know, still protecting itself. But you would get maybe creatives having their hands on something and they might make such a better content than what you get now. Like it's not some baby down kid stuff. Maybe you get like the real serious deal. Like if I got people making a lot more Andor type shows, I'd be pretty happy because I don't want to watch more Bad Batch. I don't want to do that. Don't protect that stuff. Get that out of here. There's a trash can for a reason. You know?
Right.
Esteban don't believe him. He loves Filoni.
I mean, there's a good and a bad to all this. Like, yeah, you can get some really good stuff, or you can get some really bad stuff. You gotten like,
Terrible.
I mean, I know I'm sitting there saying that I'm gonna watch this Winnie the Pooh movie, but I'm sure it's gonna be a disaster of a train wreck. But I want to.
you already know it's
I'm
gonna
gonna
be like
watch
a
it anyway.
B
But I'm
horror
gonna watch it anyway because
It's a novelty because there hasn't. It's been a very long time since stuff like this has entered the public domain because of what Disney's done, and that's what a lot of people look at as like the travesty of it all. You know, you can go both ways with this kind of stuff. Creatives want access to these things so that they can tell more stories. I kind of feel like, well, if you're a real creative, make up your own
create your
story.
own stuff.
You don't need someone else's stuff, but you might be able to like enhance it or make it better or do something fun and different because when it's protected, you have a limited scope of what people are doing. I've used the example of Dracula. There's a ton of Dracula movies. Most of them are terrible. Some of them are hilarious or fun. You know, to me, Christopher Lee is a Dracula guy, not just a Count Dooku. So like that stuff's very, you know, fun to me on screen when you get
the old
connections
hammer
from it all.
horror stuff.
Yeah. All that great stuff. But
Vampire in Brooklyn.
the way it works,
Hashtag not my Dracula.
because Dracula is public domain. you can do stuff so long as it's based out of the original book and it's like derivative of that. You can't take the Bram Stoker Dracula movie from 1992 and if something is
just
unique
remake
to
it.
that movie, you can't like replicate any of that because now you're infringing on something because that'll still be protected.
Okay.
That's something you brought up, and I didn't understand
Yeah.
that because it's almost verbatim out of the book. Like literally the
Like his
actual
armor.
graphics that they used, I get that. You couldn't copy that. But like the storyline and the
Yeah.
flow of it and the verbiage used, it's like out of the book. How are you not
No,
gonna
it's
infringe on that?
I know it's on point, but say like the general imagery of the movie, like there's a lot of like shots that are overlaying things.
Mhm.
Like
Like the
when
eyes in the
the eyes
sky
when he's like on the
bullshit.
train
Mhm,
ride and stuff
mhm.
like that. So like you would not be able to put that in a movie because now people might point that out and be like, whoa, 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 that's our thing. You can't touch that.
Got you.
So
Yeah, that seems like
Bram
a
Stoker being more faithful is not maybe the best example, but let's say Lord
Yeah,
of the
that-
Rings goes public domain.
Oof.
They cut a lot of content and made a lot of changes in the New Line movies. So
Mhm.
that's where it can't be like that. You'd have to either go closer to the book or a different deviation
Further
that
from the
wasn't
book.
already
Yeah.
done. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you want to turn, Gollum into a good guy and he throws the ring into the Mount Doom and saves the day, then I guess you can do that one day.
So you
Maybe.
want them to
So you
bad
could
batch the
basically
Lord of
tell
the Rings?
you can basically sell the same story, but in a different way. It has
Yeah.
to be a
Yeah.
different way.
We just saw a perfect example of it for those of us watching House of the Dragon.
Yeah.
In the book, the Dances of Swords, whatever it's called, Rhaegar, it's written like Rhaegar purposefully kills the Rhaenyra's son, but in the show, it's not really
Accidental,
it's
yeah.
accidental, and that's figuring out, is the narrator a reliable narrator, or is it word for word? What's your interpretation of this scenario? And so there are good examples of it. Going back to the idea of Batman, a lot of us growing up on the internet in the early days, we all remember the Grayson short,
Yeah.
the concept fan movie where
Mhm.
Robin goes into a coma. That script was released for people to read, and it's fantastic. You have the little short of Batman versus the aliens from the alien monsters, and that little
Oh, the
2-3
Yeah.
alley
minute short.
one, dead end. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for that time, it was a fantastic idea. So
Yeah, it
you
was.
have potential, or with Star Wars, you have people who spend 4 years of their personal time doing an anime version of a Star Battle, and that floated around the internet for a long time. So there are people who are dying to get their hands on stuff, and there's this delicate dance between fan film, transformative art, and straight copyright.
Okay.
Yeah, the Star Wars example is an interesting one because are you talking about the anime one where it's like the TIE pilots, that one?
Yeah,
I
the
saw
fan
that, yeah.
one.
Okay.
Or what
It's
about
all-
even like the cops one, like where they did that, like the cops where they were doing the Baru and
Troops.
Uncle Owen, yeah, Troops.
But that's a different thing because it's just a genuine fan film, like made for fun, like backyard type stuff.
Yeah, but they're still using stormtroopers. They're still directly talking about Uncle Owen, Aunt Beru.
Yeah,
I mean,
they
talk
are.
about Jawas. That's got to be close to
Because like all
infringement
that
at
kind of
point.
stuff, like that's just it's not like being distributed. They're not profiting off of it. So like nothing. There really
It's
is
more
no
like an homage type
genuine
thing.
foul. Yeah.
I got you.
But that could be something that you could now sell potentially once that would expire. That's
Wait,
really far out though.
You can do stuff like that if you're not profiting.
No, you can publish it, but you can't sell it.
Yeah.
You can put it up on YouTube with no ads and just get your name out there as someone who can create, organize, and make something, and have it on your resume. But you can't make any money off of that. And
But you hear people. Sorry, go ahead, Esma. Sorry.
And then you hopefully either Lucasfilm or the Sony Music Group doesn't strike you for even attempting to put it up there for people to consume.
I know that's one of the big ones. Like if your channel's monetized, you'll get slapped with those copyright infringements for music and stuff. But if you're non-monetized, they usually don't say nothing. I want to say that was one of the things EE was talking about, the stop motion transformation of the legends, and he's like, how the hell are they getting away with this? I mean, they're directly playing the Transformer theme song over the entire 5 minutes of that video, like on loop. And like, how are you getting away with it? And I told him my best guess is they're non-monetized, so they're not going to get chased because they're not.
But I don't see them doing all that if they're not trying to be monetized.
Or they're not monetized from that.
Like
but
just
they're
me
not
personally, like
Yeah,
If
but
I'm
they're
not
not
monetizing
monetized
this,
on
I'm
that
not doing it.
YouTube video, but that YouTube video is going to get you to go to their store and buy their stuff. So they're not copyright infringement there. They're just using it to shift you that direction.
So, sometimes if the video is deemed non-infringent, YouTube will monetize it and automatically send the money to the Sony Music Group, Universal Music Group, and that way you have no control over the video is making money, but not for you.
Right. You're
What is
not
I-
making the
1/6
money off of
in
it.
here?
That's happened to me in the past on Instagram of using when we were doing the photo contests. I used the Batman Beyond soundtrack to show off like the behind the scenes of how I made a picture, and it got struck, and so somebody else is making money off of that video.
Hmm.
So you either have a choice of taking it down or leaving it up, and someone else profits off of it.
Going real quick. Sorry, Esmond, the thing that you just pulled up, that would lead me to question. We have these transformers behind us. Does that mean technically we're infringing on rights because the video is monetized, but we're not paying these people for displaying our transformers? I don't understand what he's saying there.
Well, I don't think you can make out what I have behind myself, so I'm not worried about it.
Well, like you can have a product, visible like that, but I don't believe that's infringing on anything. Like you own that. Like you're not up there selling it now, or I don't know.
That's what I was trying to get. I didn't understand what he was
I'm not
saying
sure what
there.
you mean.
He's
'Cause
saying
he's-
no. I mean using it in a work of art.
Well,
okay.
This
Okay.
can be argued that this is a work of, this is a show that we're doing. I'm just playing, I guess, devil's
I think he's saying like
advocate,
somebody
so to speak.
drawing a picture, like you
Well,
drawing
work of
a
art
picture
isn't
of
just
Megatron.
drawing, though. That's the thing.
Mhm.
Visual art is more than just pen and paper.
Yeah,
Would
anything
reviewing a
that's
toy be
transformative.
art or considered art?
This what we're doing now can be considered kind of like visual art, so to speak.
But then the real question is, what is art? Come on, Esteban. I know you picked up what I just dropped in there. What is art?
We're
Come
getting
on,
into
man.
some
We're
lawyer
gonna
shit
break
here.
this whole show up.
Like let's say Batman. We're not throwing Batman logos up and selling Batman stuff. Like we could talk about it, and that's the stuff that's okay because there's no confusion as to like what your message is.
You're trying to throw up the
Throw up
blood.
gang signs.
Yeah, it's like that's not what I'm trying to do, guys.
He's like, my arthritis makes me not gangsta anymore.
Is that copyrighted? That's the question.
It's a big copyright.
Look, so you have Derek has a Transformers hat on, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have a
You got a
then
Yankee
this is
hat
a
on?
license.
Yankees, yeah.
Yeah,
I got my
no,
Transformer
don't
pins
get
going.
that. No, don't take that out your mouth. This is a Met hat, buddy.
I'm sorry. I'm
No,
sorry.
don't
Forgot.
ever disrespect the Yankees like that. You piece of shit.
Apologize.
We don't do Yankees here, but it's just something that can get you in trouble. I know certain TV shows, if you watch, they will purposely not show official logos on things because of licensings or whatever the term is called at this point. Just wondering, do I need to turn my hat backwards?
So I know, I'm looking through the document that I had written up here. So as far as like trademark logos, like say like the sports logo, but what it says is that, like I believe that falls into like a fair use, and you don't have to have permission for that. And what it says here is like you can use a trademark in a descriptive sense in fiction and nonfiction settings, using a trademark to describe goods or services, and in such a way that doesn't suggest an association with those goods or services is fair use, because you're just wearing that. You're not doing anything special with it. It's just there.
But then how come in movies they have to pay to like I'm in a movie
Because they're
and I'm
trying to
wearing a
make
Batman
money.
shirt.
Yeah,
That's
advertising
like
thing.
Yeah, that's money right there.
I think
But
that turns
usually
into a
that's-
monetization thing.
that's usually insertion. Like you don't necessarily need to. Like when you see like the Coca-Cola cup, that's Coca-Cola like paying to be there.
Yeah.
Right.
Like that's like sponsor stuff. So it's
No,
not.
but I'm saying like a
little-
T-shirt. You're a character in a movie, and you're a nerd in a movie, and you're wearing a nerd shirt that happens to have a Batman logo on it.
I'm not aware of like that you can't do that, but then you can't like that's why when you see like an action figure made of like a character, sometimes they don't put like a full print for something like that. Or like Beavis and Butthead had Metallica and AC/DC
Mhm.
on their shirt, and then it was Skull and Death Rock, I think, were
Yeah.
on all the merch because they're not like they'd have to be paying Metallica
Yeah.
and these guys.
So it's like
otherwise.
the wrestling figures and the tattoos and all that stuff. Like they can't. Make
Well,
Kind
yeah,
of.
the new starting line figures weren't there?
I think
wasn't
I
there
think
a
the
thing about
tattoo one is
tattoos?
stupid though.
Yeah,
So-
I think it's
so
stupid,
they
but it's the
didn't
same
put-
general idea.
They didn't put the tattoos on the starting lineup. I think they did it for a number of reasons. One,
Yeah.
probably the lawsuit that's going on with Mattel right now. And two, like if you've seen these basketball players, the amount of tattoos they have, there's no way to get it accurate. There's no way to even know what it's on their bodies, and some of it probably not appropriate. But I mean,
Probably
they're
costs a lot
paying
too.
those trademark licensing fees, whatever you want to call them, to the NBA, to the Players Association for
Under Armour,
likenesses,
Nike.
Nike, Under Armour, Reebok. You know, they
I need a
couldn't do
LeBron
that
James with a "I
legally.
wish I was Jordan" tattoo on his forehead.
They couldn't do that legally. Because that, I guess that's, if they're IP, whatever you want to call it, IP infringement or trademark.
I just thought about something. How does that work with? Because I know y'all heard of this happening too, where these celebrities or famous personalities, even wrestlers, ball players, they have tattoos, and when they get shown or used in pictures or anything like that, you have the tattoo artist who wants representation of that. Now, how does that work when it comes to that?
That's kind of what I was just like kind of hitting around about, because that's what I
Yeah.
don't understand is the tattoo artist drew it, so
Right.
it's their work of art, but it's attached to your body, so it's also
Mhm.
your work of art. So how do you argue whose that is, and what's the legal
Well,
ramifications
so
and stuff like that?
Yeah,
I
that's an interesting question.
believe that's what's going on right now with Mattel.
Mhm.
And there's a tattoo artist suing Mattel due to one of their wrestling figures that
Yeah,
had,
Randy Orton.
like,
Pepsi
he's
can
not
or some
suing,
shit, right?
like he's not suing the wrestler,
Mhm.
Right.
because that's it's on his body. I think he's suing like Mattel for making the toy using his tattoo art. Now,
Okay.
I don't
Yeah.
know if you've ever, if I don't know if you have tattoos, Derek, or not.
Mhm.
Sometimes you go to a tattoo parlor, they're stencils, like they're like you can pick out from a book. Not
Yeah.
every tattoo that these guys are making
The flash
is,
books. You just grab one
yeah,
down and
not
pick it
every
off.
one
Yeah.
these guys are making are original hand drawn artwork. You
Mhm.
can get some, and good tattoo artists will sit there and they can freehand just about anything. But a lot of people, especially going in drunk, oh, I want this skull that's in this book,
Yeah.
and that skull that's in that book is in every tattoo parlor around the
Mhm.
country. So I don't think you can sue for something like that. But
But
I
what about
mean,
like mine? I have a Batman tattoo. I have a couple of them, but
and if
I have a
that's
Batman
original,
logo. So that is a trademark infringement that this artist drew it, but he owns the rights to his drawing of it, and I own the rights to it because it's attached to my body. But DC owns the rights to the logo. How does
Well,
that fucking play out?
it's
If they make
I
an action
think
figure out of
that's
me, do they
part
have
of
to leave the
what.
Batman off?
in the tattoo argument, the person doesn't matter because the person is just the canvas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're
Okay.
treating the tattoo like a digital license. You pay to own something and only you can own it. You can't stream it for the public and you can't profit off of my work because you're the canvas. Or it's like when a person owns a rare piece of art and it's on loan to a museum, the museum displays it for donations or for free, but they can't charge people or put it outside and block access to it. So
Got you.
the individual doesn't matter in this case. The tattoo is a licensed piece of art and the person is just a moving canvas. So the initial transaction has been done to make the art piece, but further compensation needs to be done if it's like making a copy of a print. You have the original sketches that you can buy of a comic book, like the original sketches from your favorite comic book artist. But if you having the originals scan it and make copies and sell it at a convention, then you're infringing on someone's intellectual right. You own the original,
Right.
but you don't
so I
own
just
the
looked it up.
idea.
I was a little mistaken. They were suing for Randy Orton's tattoo.
It's like a Pepsi
It
can or something,
was
right?
the 2K video games. 2K video
Mhm.
games.
Video
And
games.
she won. She won.
Okay.
October 4th, 2022. She won that case.
Wasn't it like a small payout too?
I don't know how I'm reading it now,
But the
but
problem is
so
it sets
there's
precedence for all
so it's
future
a
things.
precedence now.
Mhm.
There's a precedence now.
Years ago, when I
I know
was in high
Berg has said that it's,
But
that
he's talking
the
about the
tattoo
Mafex one
belongs.
that that would fall under the 3P thing. I think it's the same reason why they can get away with building a sound wave and not calling it a sound wave. It's
Mayfex
Well,
is
Mayfex does.
3P.
Mayfex is licensed. They license their stuff.
Yeah, they're not 3P.
Their toys are licensed officially through the companies.
Is it then because it's in China? Maybe it's different laws, like you were talking earlier.
No,
about
I just think it's just
Popeye.
because it was one figure. My point was like I can't see starting lineup trying to get every single player's tattoos right. It just could be too much for the line, you know. But
Just accept
Mayfex,
if you got shoes and move on.
Who is 1-6
Yeah.
shooter? This dude knows stuff. Like you
Yeah.
seen all his comments? Like this guy's like he knows about this IP stuff. We need to find out who the hell that is.
Ricky, your neighbor says back in the 90s, some guy was covered in tattoos of Disney characters. He was making the rounds on the talk shows and got sued by Disney and lost because he was profiting using the IP. How was he profiting?
Man, don't listen to that guy. That guy's
So
it might have been why he
appearance.
he
might have
lives
been
next door to me on purpose, so you can't trust anything that dude says.
It might he might
I
have
would
been
imagine.
using the tattoos as opposed, you know, like using the fact that he has these tattoos
as
Yeah.
for
getting
his
paid
brand,
to be on
as
shows.
Well,
opposed
when
to
you appear on these talk shows, they pay you to come on these talk shows too. So if they're paying you to talk about that, I would imagine that's why he got sued and lost, because that's where his profit came from those appearances.
because of the tattoos.
God damn, that seems like such a crazy gray area. Holy shit.
It's not like
I know,
me
yeah.
going on a talk show
minefield.
to talk about
I'm here to
anything
talk about
else
these tattoos I
and
have on
my
my body.
tattoo. You see one of my tattoos, it's not the same. If I was on there to go on my talk show to talk about my tattoos and make money off of these tattoos, I guess that's where that came from. And I think that's probably looks like that's why this person won the lawsuit against 2K.
But that seems like what he's talking about, like what Eric's talking about with the Disney guy and the tattoos. That's some petty shit that Disney absolutely 1000% would do.
Wow.
Disney's not the type to let little stuff slide. They don't play around like that.
Well, it depends on the payout and the amount of disrespect or brand confusion that something would happen. In the early 2000s, there's that movie Escape from Tomorrowland, where they filmed the movie secretly inside of Disney World and Disneyland. And instead of fighting it to make sure it never came out and risk it getting popular, Disney completely ignored it. All they would say is, we are aware of such a film, and it went nowhere. It's not even a cult classic. It's just people who like found footage, indie kind of horror know about this film. But other than that, because Disney chose to not go after it, it's disappeared. And same thing with, moving back into the topic of IP and public domain. Some things are worth going after, and some things aren't. Like I'm wearing an Arabish thing with a lightsaber. It says Skywalker, but this is transformative art. This $20 sweater is not worth Disney shutting up some little Etsy shop. Or these fantasy pins that I collect are made by individual artists, but the pennies they make, it's not worth going after.
Sometimes they'll just do it though, just to slap that precedence down, so that if somebody does start making big money off of it, they can say, "Look, we shut them down once before for this. It applies to that too."
Yeah, if someone gets too popular, they'll send a cease and desist to scare you.
Yeah, yeah.
Recently, with the idea of public domain and distribution rights, I can no longer easily pirate Kamen Rider and Super Sentai. All of those websites got hit with cease and desist because Shout Factory was going to start distributing it here.
Yeah.
So, what's fair use, what's fair access? It's all this. It's weird. It's this weird game that it's not even a game. It's like like everyone has this idea of like, this is so complicated, so frustrating. Maybe it's not even worth going into or fucking with.
Because it's going to cost more money to sue them, and to pay for lawyers and all that type stuff.
Years of litigation in your life.
Exactly. Yeah.
It has to be, it has to be something that's worth it, I guess. It's owner company discretion on, what am I going after? How am I going to do this? Because if Disney goes after anybody, look, it's bad publicity for Disney. People will always look at Disney and be like, "Oh, why are you suing this guy for? Why are you suing that guy for?" So I know.
But then if they don't, people will be like, "Why is Disney letting this guy get away with it? Why is Disney not doing anything to this guy?" I mean, nobody's gonna ever be happy.
Well, because Gort wants a free for all. Gort wants everybody to let everybody make everything. Let's go. Give me free for a Wild Wild West.
Gort wants everybody to reproduce G2. That's all he's waiting for. He
No,
wants the world to
no.
implode so everybody
He
can make
wants
G2.
someone to remake 7, 8, and 9 is what he wants.
He's like, let
I
Bob
don't
down
want
the
them to
street make
remake
my
it. I
Dino
want them to do
Rider.
something completely different. Just, yeah.
Derek, your wife says a company I worked for was sued
That's what
for
I was trying to
using an
get to.
actor with a tattoo. Artist claimed he lost business and won.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wrap my head around that. How is he losing business? It was like a shitty tattoo and everyone canceled? Like, I don't get it.
So if someone likes that, if someone sees that tattoo and likes it, and then takes it to another artist to do it on their arm, and you know, instead of going to that original artist, they're going to another artist who is profiting off of that particular art. So you
I'm
know,
assuming it must
and
have been
that's how that happens.
original. I'm assuming it must have been original art.
I know on all my tattoos, my tattoo artist, like, because I had like a couple, because normally I went to the same guy, but he moved, and so I had to get a new one. But they were very strict about, you gave them the concept of what you wanted, they drew it up. They would not even show it to you until you put a deposit down, and then they would not even start letting you look at the final product of it unless you paid at least half of the price of the thing, because a lot of people will get that and they'll be like, oh, you're gonna charge me $500? Well, my boy Derek does tattoos. He said he'd do it for $250. So thanks for this piece of paper. I'm gonna go let him put it
and
on.
that's what happens.
So they'll make you pay almost that full price up to them, just in case you do that stupid shit. They still got paid for it. So that's that's probably.
See, I get that argument, but that just seems like real fucking petty. Like,
well, I mean,
it just seems like there's a line. It's like, how do you got to cover your
is
whole
Bobby gonna sue
body?
me over my tattoo? Should I reach out to him and make sure he's not gonna sue me over my tattoo? I gotta find out from him. You guys are making me think.
You got a skull face on your ass or something?
No, I have his artwork of Soundwave on my arm, so I'm gonna have to make sure he's not.
Well, if you start using that to profitize on it, then yeah, Bobby,
without giving him proper representation for
stuff.
Yeah.
Bobby, you better not sue me, man.
So you can mention if it comes up, you can mention, hey, so and so did my tattoo. You know, you can find them on this website if you want to. You know, if you want it, hit him up, and you know he'll take care of you. You know, you can advertise for him. You know, if you choose, to eliminate that particular situation from happening, I imagine. So,
I mean, Wolf, I know you're saying it's petty, but let's say me and you are talking one day, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, hey, look, I drew up this little plot of a book I'm gonna write, and you send it to me, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh wow, this is cool. And then with the next week, I write that book. I take your plot, write that book, publish it, become rich. Ain't you gonna be pissed?
Yeah.
That's my idea. You stole my original idea.
I don't know why this just seems different to me. Just like
But my thing is, like, let's go back to Mickey Mouse. Like, Walt Disney made his money off of his concept of Mickey Mouse, and it wasn't even fully his concept. It was like him, his brother, and like one other guy beat it all the way out into Mickey Mouse. Like, it was not just his idea. And like Bob Kane and Bill Finger, not just one person had to do with Batman. It was a couple people really got Batman started off where he was at. They've made their money. The dude, Disney's been dead, you know, minus his frozen head in the statue in Orlando or whatever they hit it at. You know, he's been dead for 60 years. So his kids have made money off of it. His grandkids have made money on it. How long does it keep going until, okay, Disney's made enough money off of this shit? Let's let Eric go draw up a movie of Mickey Mouse.
Well, the problem is that Disney doesn't regularly create new things, and most of what Disney's works and profit are from the public domain. It is all the fairy tale shit. Mickey Mouse is their mascot, but all the money they made was selling all that other shit that they didn't have to pay anything for.
Yeah.
So like that's the ultimate irony. Like that's actually pretty scum when you look at it.
Then they rebrand it as their own, so it's Disney's Aladdin, Disney's Tarzan.
Which is why.
So and that's where you get to, and that's where you start discussing generational wealth. You know, because that's what that is. Until that thing expires, the whole trademark and all that stuff expires, and it comes public domain. They're going to keep generating that wealth, but from what you all are talking about, it's their responsibility to make sure that when that trademark or, you know, whatever expires, they renew it so they can keep generating that generational wealth for their kids. going
On
forward.
the law, you don't renew it. Isn't that how that works? Like when that death plus 70 years is up, you don't get a chance to renew it. That's
Trademark
it.
can be
That's the end
renewed,
of it.
but not copyright.
Trademark, not copyright.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Trademark is every 10 years if you renew it. You
And
can
I
renew it
don't
every
have
10
an.
years, no matter what.
I mean, I don't have an issue with. Look, if I created something that's going to take care of my family and my kids and my grandkids and can continue to take care of their kids going and down the family line, I don't see nothing wrong with that. I don't.
I need you to go
You
find
know,
out Beethoven's great grandchild.
you know,
And give them
I
some
wish
money.
I could. I wish I could create
That's
something
public
that
domain.
would, that would
Yeah.
sit there and
Not what he wants.
be able to take care of my family and my kids and their kids and just so on and so forth. Like I don't blame Disney. I am not mad at Disney for wanting to keep this stuff. I don't.
I get,
And I
what
agree,
you're
it is
saying.
scummy because most of their stuff is off of public domain stuff anyway. But
Most of their stuff,
stuff
is
that they
somebody
have
else's idea.
created is
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
it's ours.
their stuff is objectively better. Like objectively, no one's going to read the original 101 Dalmatians book and say this is
Trash.
better than the animated film that we
Yeah.
got. Someone
Agreed.
could try to
Agreed.
make a better version of that book.
It's interesting to say like objectively better because it's just something that has marketing and money behind it so that it comes to public attention in a more grand way than a book or anything else ever could or did.
And
People
the
know the
objective part
fairy
is
tale.
generational.
People know the fairy tale stories from Disney. They don't know the actual versions, which most of them are a fair bit more twisted than
Yeah, I've
what we're
heard that.
getting.
Yeah,
Dark as
yeah.
fuck.
Yeah, they're not really
know,
kids books.
Not
some of
kids
Like
them.
the
No.
Hansel and
No.
Gretel one, like the actual one, like she's like picking those kids' bones with her teeth and stuff. Like she eats the fuck out of them in the old original one.
In your original research, Gort, did you see what the original copyright protection was on works?
Yeah, like I saw a variance because at one point it said something about 28 years after
Yeah.
publication, and then I've also seen 56 years, and I didn't look further into where I was seeing that variance from.
But I think that's the Disney thing is it was 28, and then they stepped in and said no, they wanted more time. And it was
Yeah.
50. Not that they chose it, but they what is that? The L
It's
word.
not all from Disney, but there's enough changes that I was like, it's not important. It matters what it is now. I don't care what it was, 40, 50 years ago. It's not relevant.
But my question
Not
to
to our
you, and he
discussion.
disappeared, is at what point he went on about for forever. But to me, it should have a cutoff. There has to be one generation, two generations, even three generations past the original concept.
I do
Just let
agree
it go
with
at
that.
that
when
point.
you get 95 years though, that already is spanning multiple generations.
Yeah.
When you look
How
at
far
it.
does it need to go? Your grandkids are already dipping into that money. At that point.
lifetime. Like if you publish something and you're 30 years old, you live till you're 90 to begin with, and then 70 years past that, that's a long time.
But your grandkids are dipping into that original concept money at that point. Like it has to, there needs to be a cutoff. It can't go for forever. If we had a time machine and we travel 500 years into the fucking future and Disney's still making money on Mickey Mouse, I'd be mad as hell. Like it needs to go away.
It's gonna happen.
I'm trying to think
Probably.
if there's any positives for trademark and copyright. Like, is there any works that you might think of that got popular late in its life, so people didn't make money off of it until it was almost time, like it almost ran out?
Almost every piece of art that is considered priceless at this point was created by an artist who was destitute and penniless while they were alive, and
That always
only
happened
people
when they died.
afterwards. And then go with Edgar Allan Poe. All his stuff, he had very little money during his lifetime, and then it just became super famous afterwards. Bram Stoker, same thing with Dracula. Like it's very few of those older like 1800s and all that stuff where they were making killer amounts of money on it while they were alive.
All a different reach.
Big, huge, because we started spreading around the world. You were able to print faster, print cheaper, get them out further away from the print shop. Like it changed. The technology got them out faster and further. So they weren't making that money.
Dormammu, what is wrong with you?
He's on internet
He's
crack.
on
No, you
DeviantArt
can't mess with
a
him.
lot and on Slashdot.
Yeah, that does sound like something you find there.
That's a good example. Slashdot. So 50 Shades of Grey was originally a transformative work of art that was just a parody or their own version of Twilight, and that got changed into 50 Shades of Grey. That is taking a transformative work, bypassing copyright and stuff and making it into something that's completely your own, but it's a
Yeah.
derivative of Twilight.
Really?
There was, yeah, yeah. There was another example I gave earlier with Superman, that Brightburn movie, which it's clearly that's a Superman. It's
Oh
like
yeah.
a little
That's the
kid,
Superman origin
acting.
story.
Yeah, but if Superman was public domain, then you can call it Superman, and it didn't need to be called Brightburn. Like that would be the
Oh
difference.
God.
Otherwise, it's like legally like in there. Like the second that Superman hits public domain, it depends on like powers and things, characters. There's like limitation. Like when Superman hits public domain, he's strong and he can jump far, but he doesn't fly in like
Yeah.
the debut.
That's right. He
Like
doesn't. He can only jump an eighth of a mile, or was it?
Yeah,
Who are
they
you talking
put
about?
bubbles in
or
Superman?
the
whatever it
Because
is.
ground.
Superman, like his original power set was he ran fast, he could stop bullets with his chest, and he could jump over a building. That was his original
Did he
power
not
set.
have X-ray vision too?
Nope. Not in the
I don't
original
think so.
comics. That came later. It kept adding and adding. I did a whole thing about this in one of my classes in college, like my speech classes. And they've gave him bats so crazy. Like in the 50s, he had this one power where he could hold his hand like this, and a miniature version of himself would show up in his hand. And then that one would hold its hand out, and a miniature version would be in its hand. And it kept going like that until there's all these decliningly smaller Supermans, and they would all fly off and fight crap. Like it's bananas what they used to do in comics. I want that Superman in a movie.
Lex Luthor, like that comes years later. Like there's a lot of things that you just don't get initially, so you'd have to tell like a very like
Can't tell any Joker stories if you're
But
Batman.
you get the basics, and the basics are all that
Batman
matter.
killed Joker in the very first Batman comic. He shot Joker in the alleyway. In the very first Batman Detective Comics, he kills Joker in the comic.
Do you feel like this would be a good thing for DC or not?
Well, it wouldn't matter for DC. Is it a good thing for the people? Like it's DC
Depends
would
on
be
who's writing
irrelevant to that.
I thought the Joker was killed by a group of people, a group of guys in the bar when they found out he was the reason that Batman existed.
The very first Detective Comics 27, the Batman shoots him in the alleyway at the end of the comics. And then years later, when they wanted to bring Joker back, they retconned it and fixed it and said it didn't kill him.
I'll believe you. All people.
Yeah, no, I think we're. I'm pretty sure Ricky's right on that one.
I mean, it had nothing to do. I'm not right or wrong. It's just I happen to have read it recently. It's one of my.
Yeah, no. Well, I've heard the same thing. I've never read it, but I heard that he did this. He heard that he did that.
Hey, I got a question.
Well, hang on, Wolf.
Dormammu's losing his fucking.
Dormammu's just going off in the chat, but that might be my favorite one that he put in there. That sounds great.
Dormammu is the reason we going off topic. So.
Well, look, that's the whole point. Like when the stuff gets into public domain, like you're entering the ability to have like the wacky and wild adventures of all this bullshit, and that I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Like you think about what Batman is right now. I think everybody has a very similar image in their mind, but then it could be something completely different. Like Terminator rom-com, like what, like. Who's that a romantic comedy for? Like the people the Terminator's going after is the Terminator going on dates. Like
don't worry about it when we make the movie.
I want Dormammu to write the next Winnie the Pooh movie.
You already have it. It's coming out this year. It's the horror version.
It's
Actually, it did get romantic. I don't know about the comedy part. It did get romantic with Sarah Connor and
Kyle Reese.
Yeah, Kyle Reese, getting together and getting all googly eyed with each other, and then they created John. So and
then there was that one term.
It is a possibility.
John Connor went back in time, almost banged his mom, called himself Calvin Klein. I don't know, whatever, something like that.
I don't know if different is necessarily better. I mean, look at the DC movies that are going on right now. One of the popular complaints is it's not all in one continuity.
It's not
imagine.
But then everybody bitched when it was.
Well, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You can't win or lose with motherfuckers on the internet.
Yeah, but I mean, imagine, someone right now, if all these Marvel characters were public domain, let's say, and you have the MCU going on, and then you have some other guy coming in, it can cause major brand confusion with the way with marketing and the way you can advertise
there
things
is no
right
brand
now
anymore.
Look, man, if somebody came out and made up
Well,
some
there'll be
crazy
a
ass
modern
movie
brand and then the antique
and
brand.
you were confused by it,
Look,
then you
but
just
there
don't need to
already,
buy it,
but there
man. We're
already
not
is
going to be
brand
confused. We know what
confusion.
they are.
Like, there's plenty of people that don't know the difference of DC and Marvel, but with
Yeah.
all the Marvel stuff, like what used to be Fox and Sony and everything in the first place, there, how many different, was it 3 different Spider-Man franchises? Like, everybody already is confused. Then you put all that together in one movie. I don't think that helps.
Sir, that
That's
is
good
called
for
a
people like us,
multiverse, and
but
you do
not for the
not
layman.
nitpick it.
So, like, I think everybody is confused already with a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
you
and
have
that's
3
my
different.
point. I don't think it's a. I don't
You
know.
also,
It's interesting. That I guess it depends, like Wolf said, if someone makes something good or not. It'll depend on whether it was good or not.
But then who decides whether it's good or not? Again,
Us.
so that's
We
what
do.
We
we
do.
brought up earlier. We brought up
People.
earlier the objectively good or not. It was brought up earlier, and I tried to get to it, and we kind of got sidetracked. So you just made me think of it again.
But yeah, I'm sorry, Wolf. I did cut you off, man. What were you trying to say?
No, I was just gonna say you're talking about being
You
confusing.
piece of shit.
I mean, there's 3 lines of He-Man figures out right now. They're all different. Like, is that considered confusing?
Yeah, for a
To
lot
so,
of
have
people.
you to
It's
some
confusing
people,
for
yeah.
me. I have
I
to
don't
ask
even
you
collect
shit
it,
all the
and
time.
listening to you guys talk about it, I'm like, what?
I've
what-
had
when
had
people-
someone ask me in the Target aisle one day, like about a battle cat. Is this the right battle cat for this figure? And I was like, no, you need this one. You know, parents, you know, a lot of, especially older parents, when it comes to these toys, they have no idea.
No,
They have
no,
no
because
idea.
like that's like you have your different scales, but like look, the second that a transformer goes up, a new one, what is that? Who made it? What scale? Which one is it? When you have side by sides, people still don't know what stuff is, and you got to tell them which Optimus and Blaster and whatever everything is because they don't know.
You know, and
They
this
just
is
know the
all
fans' toys is
under
the
one
best one,
brand.
but they might not know which one it is in a lineup.
And this is all under one brand. None of this stuff is public domain. You know, and you can still get brand confusion.
Yeah,
Interesting. Yeah,
I
interesting
don't
thing
think
to
it
think of.
matters. And like you look at like the things that people do to like tell the same story as is, like I use this example for other things, but like Point Break, people like or dislike that movie, that's fine.
That movie was fucking
it had a
amazing.
remake.
Everybody who hates it can suck my taint. That movie was awesome.
The first one or the second one?
What second one? Again, Bat Nipples.
Yeah,
Pocket
there's a
Universe doesn't
there's a
exist.
reboot to Point Break that's not good. But
Yeah.
when they remade the movie and called it Fast and the Furious and changed the names and the setting, but it's the same
Fuck
story. It did
That's
fine.
the same as Twilight and 50 Shades of Grey.
It is. When you change the name and the characters,
Esteban,
it's
please
fine.
don't make me hate you, man. Don't do that. Don't do that to Point Break, dude. I love you too much for that, man.
Yeah. I don't
But
know.
there's only so many things, like, they taught about it when I was in school and stuff. There's only like 9 different kind of stories you can possibly tell. I can't. It was like 7 or 9. There's like a set number. There's a finite number of different stories, and you just
Well,
rewrap
that
the
doesn't
same thing
sound
over and
very
over.
creative.
Yeah,
Maybe
but
if all these ideas were public domain, there'd be more than 9.
It's still only the same 9. It's like the hero's quest, the villain's quest. Like there's a set number of them, and they're all just different variants of those same steps.
yeah, it takes a special kind of creator to make you not think about that. That I know this story already.
Remove the obviousness of what
Yeah.
they're doing.
Have you fall into it, and that's with public domain and intellectual property, it only matters to the corporations who want to make money. Once you remove money from the equation, it's all about the art and the feeling. Like eventually, now that Winnie the Pooh by A.A. Milne is public domain now, someone is going to make something that's going to inspire people to go back and watch the Disney version and the original books. Something that
Yeah.
will something really touching. And same thing will happen to Mickey. There's gonna be a lot of garbage, but garbage that will be hot for a day, half a day, everyone sharing it everywhere. And then there's stuff that you will want to have a physical copy of to own because it was that good. And no one will remember the garbage, the garbage stuff where like when you're watching SpongeBob and they zoom in on people's faces and it's all crusty and ugly.
That visual, man.
That whole art style, like Ren and Stimpy, all that stuff, doing that.
Zooming in, you see the zits and the hairs and
everything. Although
That's the
that's kind of like
version.
what TV's become. Everything is HD, 4K, 16K, a billion K. But
Yeah.
people have more detail in their face on TV than in real life. That's what it looks like to me.
Derek,
You're muted, brother. You're muted, man. We can't hear you.
Sorry, man. No, I'm saying they got 8K out now. I was in the store the other day looking at 8K TVs. Crazy.
And then, Wolfie, you had a question too about Randy Orton, but yeah, I feel you on that. It's getting crazy. You start seeing pores inside their pores on TV. It's nuts.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, real quick, going back to the Randy Orton thing, that his tattoo artist was suing the toy company. Is that how?
A 2K game.
Video game.
Okay, so does this mean? I mean, Randy Orton's on TV. Does that mean can this tattoo artist sue the WWE, or are they paying her? How does this work?
That's a good question.
I think it's the difference of the representation. I don't know. Like that's the actual person there versus a representation of the person in another media that is being sold.
Like him versus his character.
Yeah,
they literally had
broadcast.
to redraw that tattoo for the video game model as opposed to I'm not an expert. I know I said I was, but I'm not.
But then weren't they
See,
were
that
talking
right there,
about,
though, that would fly in the face of what Sean was saying earlier when the actor was going on the show and he sued. Whatever happened there?
Well, he was on the show
because of the tattoos.
Because of his tattoos.
He was making.
He wasn't
is that? Did I miss that part? I apologize if I did.
Yes. I'm starting to remember this guy.
They're like, oh, we're going to bring you on because you have the world's most Disney tattoos, and he was getting paid to be on the show because
all
of
right,
his
got
Disney
it.
tattoos.
He was using the tattoos to make literally the Disney tattoos to make money.
Okay, so there's a slight
Randy
difference there.
Orton isn't using his tattoos like to make money. They're they're on his body, but
didn't Pinkerton and Jeremy, like, they were talking about the wrestling figures one time on ETR, and like somebody has like a Mountain Dew can or a Pepsi can or some crap like that tattooed on their body. How does that work out? Does Pepsi get to sue them, or do they have to pay Pepsi to use that tattoo that's on a person in real life in their toy? Like, it gets
they might have paid or reached out. You would hope a company when it comes to things like this, their legal department knows ahead of time not to walk into these traps.
You have to get it cleared.
Especially when it's an obvious Pepsi logo or, as opposed
to, like,
to,
I'm not getting paid because the Pepsi logo is on him. Like, that toy is not making money because of the Pepsi logo. That toy's getting made and it's making money because it's Randy Orton.
But the Pepsi logo is on something that's making money.
Right.
So yes, see, I think that's what your neighbor's right. They get paid royalties in that case.
So my OnlyFans can get me sued for my Batman tattoo?
If it's good.
Possibly.
Is it a good tattoo?
I mean,
are you using,
really, or is it like
using the actual tattoo to promote your OnlyFans?
Sure, I am.
Or then maybe
Oh, because it's tattooed on your ass. That's right.
I love this guy. Did you see Sean in the chat squad? She said I need a tattoo Bobby's name on my ass, so it's covered for copyright.
Yeah, the TMBS.
Wow.
Patent pending.
Yeah,
that went way to the other side.
We've gone. It's been almost an hour and a half, and that's this whole topic. We could do a show like this every week for probably the next 6 months and not really nail down specific answers, because it's hard. Because as soon as you get one layer peeled back, it opens up questions to this whole other one, and then you peel that back, and it's questions all the way down to the core of it, and I don't think you can ever get to it. It's like the Tootsie Pop. How many licks does it take to get all the way down to the middle? You'll be forever trying to figure this shit out.
I believe Friday the 13th is a property right now that's in the middle of licensing and rights hell, which is why we haven't gotten another movie.
Oh, really?
That's why that last one was trash.
They've been fighting over that one for a while.
Yeah, so it's not as clear cut as who owns.
Wait, you said Halloween or Friday the 13th?
Friday the 13th.
Jason.
Okay.
So, if you notice, the last two ones before the reboot, they were called Jason X and Jason Goes to Hell and Freddy versus Jason, they weren't named Friday the 13th
That had
because
dropped
of
that,
licensing issues. And
Oh,
they did that reboot. Well, I think it was like the dude from Supernatural was in it,
Mhm.
but and they were able to get that done. But now it's in again, it's in licensing hell. People are fighting over it and suing who owns what. So it's not always cut and dry. Even these legal teams and these legal departments have to go to court and fight and figure out who actually owns what. So I mean, we literally just didn't even scratch
this
the
is wild. I
surface
like this.
of how deep this stuff goes.
Yeah.
There's a rumor that Mattel's supposed to be losing He-Man. I don't know how how that works. Is it true? Is it not? They're promoting figures for the next 2 years.
Yeah.
But there's a rumor, according to someone who used to work at Mattel, saying that they'd lose a license at the end of this year. So
Well,
I don't.
it's a matter of whether they're renewing that license or not.
Yeah, that's how I assume it.
Did Mattel create that?
They did.
Yeah.
But they had,
yes.
they
He-Man
had
was
sold it.
a Mattel creation.
They did sell it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
He-Man originally was a Mattel creation. If you ever watch the documentary, there's people who will argue on that who actually created the character himself.
Yeah.
But it is original Mattel property.
Yeah.
Now again,
but
how does
that falls under the work for hire, right? Because it was multiple people.
I guess, but then then does this fall under?
Well,
what did we say? Creation date. Isn't
the
it
transfer of
creation
ownership
plus
is
70-something years?
The transfer of ownership is one thing, but the way that was created, it'll still be protected from that original date. So that date's not going to change if that's what you're saying. But what Mattel did, they made a big mistake getting rid of that. That's all the
that's
people,
that's where they screwed. That's right.
It's all the people that got rid of their Pokemon cards. These are worth nothing. No one wants this. Oops. Oops.
Yeah.
But no, we've been digging into it for about, like he said, an hour and a half. I think
we haven't even cracked the surface.
We can talk about a lot of stuff in circles. There's a lot of interesting possibilities, especially in the comic realm of things where things come say Marvel.
What?
Everything goes into public domain in layers. Characters were introduced in different years. You have a Human Torch from the 40s that is not the same Human Torch from the 60s.
Yeah.
Namor was the same.
Namor. He's what is he? 39. He came out.
Yeah. Like that. Because the Human Torch was a robot with flames on it, like a cyborg.
Yeah, there's a whole variety of stuff like Captain America, Falcon. A lot of those characters are much older, but they come into play and they'd enter public domain if such a thing happens way before anything else. So then you're doing a whole solo act.
I love that guy.
Yeah, there's a reason people go to school for 3 years, just for a specific thing like
copyright
and IP.
Yeah.
And these are people that have already gone to law school. They then have to go on top of it to learn for this much more. It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's very specialized.
All the nuance and everything, and proving what is or isn't, because sometimes it's very subjective, I think.
Yeah, I believe. Yeah. What did they say? Trademark is more of a subjective thing because it has to do with the branding and the perceived image, as opposed to copyrights from what we were reading yesterday. So, which is it's interesting. It's confusing. I've learned a couple things, and that means I've probably forgotten a couple things because I'm too old to keep everything in his head anymore. So who knows what I forgot?
You forgot you were going to give me that He-Man and Battle Cat, so you can go ahead.
Right here.
You'll keep on forgetting.
Keep on forgetting. That's it. It's a vicious cycle, Esteban. It just keeps going.
I'm no stranger to forgetting things myself.
What are we talking about again? What?
What? HasLab? We were talking about HasLab all night?
No. No.
What'd you say about ramen toys?
Never want to talk about HasLab again.
Until next year.
Until it's something we want.
Until next quarter. Next one.
Something that's really cool.
Hopefully the next HasLab just hits its number. We don't have to talk about it. It's done and it's good. We don't watch it drag its feet like
Okay, yeah, we're straight off. We're straight off. Sorry.
Yeah,
sorry,
we're
sorry.
getting out of there, but yeah, that's what I was trying to get. Esteban, I appreciate you coming on, man. I really
Yeah,
love interacting with you, man.
Oh,
You have
thanks for having me. I had a blast.
Yeah, thank you, Esteban, so much for
Thanks,
willing to do this.
Esteban.
Thank you
Thank
for
you
the
for sharing that
showcase.
story, man. That was a
that
great
Batman.
story.
That's what I was trying to
Yeah.
get to. That Batman. I love that story, man.
Batman
Like I
got you
said,
married, bro. That's what's
yeah,
up.
I haven't
Yeah.
had a chance
Yeah.
to meet your wife yet, but when I do, I already love her, man. That's
Yeah.
that. I love that story, and it was great to hear. It's good to hear. There's
It's
one
also
Batman
like-
fan to another.
You know, it's also a great example of just be yourself. You know, you don't have to pretend to be Mr. Super Macho. You can just be your nerdy self.
Yep. That's how I
Get it,
met
folks.
mine.
Batman
Yeah.
will get you laid.
Is Mad Max not a Christmas movie?
Die Hard is Die Hard. On that note, Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Fight me on it.
Oh, it's that time of year. Here we go.
Yes, no, I will not fight you on that
Die
because that's
Hard-
absolutely true.
It's true. He's on the whole trip because it's Christmas time. He's going out to visit his ex-wife. So the whole
Yeah.
movie is
And
premised
that's-
around
And
Christmas.
that's the first two movies at least.
Mhm.
Yeah.
'Cause the
Yep.
third one was it was in
Samuel
New
L.
York.
Jackson.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the fourth one,
They
then the
went off
fifth.
the rails.
Okay, so the first two movies was the Christmas
All
movie.
right, all right.
We are so
we're
far
well
off
out of
the
here.
fucking-
We're well out of
This
here.
is, this is
Back
a good way
on
to end the
target,
show.
back on
This is
target.
our
How
way
do
to
you-
end.
how do
This
you
is
make
our
that
way to
thing
end the
happen?
show.
Hit
Hit
Oh,
the
if I
button.
want
Hit
to
the
end it, I
button.
just hit a button. But
Everybody go around real quick. Go around the thing. Let's get it over.
So, once again, Realmhattan Project. I'm Gort. You find me here. I don't care about social media. You find me here. I'm here Friday nights, 9:00. Where can everybody find you?
You guys can find me here every Friday night. You can find me on Facebook, Eric the Spotter. You can find me on Instagram, EE202020. But don't expect me to post on Instagram because I don't. But it's there.
Mm-hmm. Derek.
Derek B, also known as Derek Bigsby on the Book of Faces. You can find me on Instagram as Derek What B. You can find me on the chat squads, just hanging out, and you can also find me here every Friday night.
How many H's and A's in the what and T on Instagram?
I was gonna ask y'all about that. Oh no. It's spelled the regular way. It's spelled the
Okay.
You have
regular
that
way.
trademark?
WHAT.
Do you have that trademark?
It's Derek.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I was gonna ask y'all about that because y'all got me thinking about that now. I was just like, yo, I need to go ahead and do that. And see, Sean does this for a living too. So I should have had her on here talking to y'all versus me. So but yeah, we're gonna get on that. But it's Derek space what space B on Instagram.
Wolf, where do we find you?
Eric Von Wolfenstein on all your social media needs, and you can find me here every Friday when I'm not being sent to Louisville during the weekend.
Oh, did you check out any of those restaurants I sent you?
The steak was a little out of the price range. I couldn't do it, unfortunately.
Okay.
Expense that shit.
I do, but I got limits.
Yeah, you get $10
trying-
per diem.
Trying to justify $75 steak dinner. I don't.
Yeah,
think
my
I'm not that
justification is you motherfuckers sent me out on the weekend. I'm
All you
buying
gotta
a
do is
steak. You're
Take
paying
one
for it.
person from the plant and just say one thing about your job and be like, "Nah, it's a business expense." That's what you do.
Esteban, where do we find you?
So I'm Esteban on Facebook. On Instagram and Twitter, I'm Dante Bayo. It's a Naruto reference. But yeah, I'm
I didn't know that.
always open to talk. And I'm also in the chat squad. I try to catch every show that's on this channel that you guys can catch anywhere between California time 6, 5, 9:30. Yeah, I'll be and I'll try to be in the
A
chat.
little bit of time travel.
Dante Bio.
Dante Bayo.
Ricky.
You can find me here Friday nights. You can find me on Now You Made It Awkward with Shoki and Dormammu podcast, and floating around in the chat squads and around
Bet your
the rock.
OnlyFans.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm gonna link that on Wolfie's page, so y'all feel free to chase that down.
We're gonna see what that timber is all about.
Yeah, baby. You
That
have no
Florida
idea.
pine.
All
I
the
remember.
Tinder, all the Florida pine. God bless America. That's fun. And
Let's see what these keys are for.
Jesus. That's it. Whatever, man. I'm here, guys.
Right on. All right, we're out of here.
Wait.
What?
We're not here next week.
What?
Yeah, we're not here next
Oh,
week.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes,
Don't come here
Turkey
looking for us. Y'all
weekend.
piss off. Nobody's gonna be here.
Yeah. Holiday weekend, not happening.
Yeah, happy gobble gobble day.
But after that, the next week we will have a regular show.
Yeah, there won't be a hangout. There'll be another show back to,
Yeah.
after that. There will be a
We'll
hangout
be
tonight,
here.
so stay tuned for the link.
Yep.
I'll
Throw
post
that
that
up
up
in Facebook.
shortly.
I
Yeah,
will not
alright.
be there for this one, guys. I gotta get up early. Sorry.
Mr. 3 AM over here.
Even
Yeah.
better. I'll put that link up even sooner now.
Yeah, cool. Go fuck yourself.
And
Esteban,
real,
thank you for coming, buddy. We love you, man.
Thanks again,
real-
Esteban.
and real quick, I
Thank
know
you.
we did this the last time too. Rest in peace, Kevin Conroy.
Yeah.
Say it with me now. Realmhattan.